Right, guys, so this is St. Arnold's Divine Reserve 18. Um, the 18th edition of Divine Reserve is their Imperial Stout. It's uses their house yeast. They talk about using 4 times the grain of their lawnmower Kolsch, and um, they use Belgian candy sugar in it. Let it rest for I think 3 months or so, and added Madagascar vanilla bean at the end of it. So yeah, it's so if you don't know about Divine Reserve, it's their yearly release, and it's always something different. But I don't remember the last time I did an Imperial Stout. I want to say maybe it was DR15. I could be wrong. But anyway, yeah. So this one comes in at 13.4, which is pretty beastly for a St. Arnold Stout, actually. And yeah, so I haven't had it yet. Let's check it out. Of course, St. Arnold is here in Houston. All right, so pours out pretty nice, pretty dark black. It's got a slight kind of caramel browning down at the bottom there, and a nice tan mocha head. Looks quite the part, so let's check out the aroma. Ooh. Really rich and roasty. Getting some nice, just like a hint of a baker's chocolate, some cola. Maybe more of a milk chocolate than a dark chocolate. Definitely get that kind of Belgian candied syrup. It has like a kind of this dark fruit, prune, raisin type quality to it. It's sort of similar to if you had like Belgian quads, things like that. Still pretty cold, so we'll give it some time to warm, or I'll revisit it because as it warms, just pull this out of the fridge, so it definitely needs to warm up a bit, but check it out. Cheers. Oh, wow. So there is a huge, like, dark dried fruit caramel type quality to this. Really intense prune, raisin, blackberry even almost, caramel, some toffee, a little bit more darker chocolate on the flavor. It's got some roast on the back end that kind of leaves this sort of a lingering bitterness. Yeah, definitely some decent roast on it, but it almost has like a. I was looking at what hops. Usually with your Imperial Stouts, of course, it's nothing in the realm of, IPA type stuff. But they use Zeus hops. I'm not familiar with those, but it feels like it has a bit of that kind of like earthy, European hop bitterness to it. Could just be the roasted malts, but typically I get more of a coffee-like roast. Well, I don't know. Maybe so. I actually haven't had any coffee with a bold bitterness in a while, so. But man, that candy sugar and that kind of dark syrupy fruits, really what's coming out. Excuse me. Yeah, it's, God, for an Imperial Stout, okay, so yeah, that's definitely the vanilla coming out. So they said to use a small amount of vanilla, but I'm getting a pretty good amount of vanilla. I wouldn't equate it as much to, it's more of like a dark fruit vanilla. Sometimes you'll have beers with vanilla in it that have more of a kind of a darker fruit type character to it. And it reminds me more of that. It's not as much of that kind of like cream type vanilla marshmallow type kind of character going on. It's definitely kind of a deeper, darker fruit vanilla from it. Um, but it has a lot of characteristics of like a Belgian quad, or maybe even an English barley wine. Maybe not as much caramel there, but definitely more quad like, I would say, or old ale. Kind of those intense dark fruit. It's a really interesting Imperial Stout. I mean, it feels more true to older Russian Imperial Stouts. Man, I can't think of the one. There's one you could find off the shelves that was a very, very true to style Russian Imperial Stout. And those are a lot heavier in those kind of dark fruit type qualities, with a kind of that nice, slight roasty bitterness on the back end. I want to say it's like the back end of like a roasty coffee. It's I don't want to say acrid, but it kind of gets a little bit towards that. But anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned now, but carbonation is absolutely spot on. Just enough to kind of elevate the beer and not make it feel too sticky and too heavy, but not over carbonated for sure. Just soft enough at the same time to really have the beer feel bold, you know. So it's really, really that perfect spot for Russian Imperial Stout. I don't know, I've seen mixed reviews on this guy, but I actually think it's really, really good. Really different from kind of what's coming out now, and a lot of, you know, Imperial Stouts really don't have that kind of dark fruit character, which I do enjoy. It's a little bit different in Imperial Stouts, I guess, but I do enjoy like Belgian quads a lot. So this reminds me a lot of those, and kind of more traditional Russian Imperial Stouts. So yeah, I actually really, really am digging this. I think it's definitely an awesome Divine Reserve, and probably one of my favorites that I've had from them. So for whatever that's worth, but I'm gonna go a very solid 4.25, maybe just a hint higher, maybe a 4.3, just because I think it's so well done, especially to the traditional sense. Yeah, man, if they barrel age this, that would be really, really cool to see. I think they should, because I think it has the body for it. Bourbon barrels, it definitely would even enhance those kind of dark fruit caramel like flavors, which would be cool. I think it'd be awesome to see it in something even a little bit different. You know, maybe in rum barrels, or even apple brandy would add some complexity to it. Definitely apple brandy, I think. But anyway, we'll see what happens if they do a Bishop's Barrel with this guy. I'm sure they will. So anyway, we'll go 4.3 on DR18, and yeah, as always, cheers. I'll catch you guys later.